And welcome. So let's start learning HTML in the first step of web designing. As you know, and I said previously, if you want to become web designer, the first step is to learn HTML, then CSS, then JavaScript, and then so forth. We will discuss all of them. So if you want to follow the video, so that's fine. If you are not following the video, beside the videos, you can just come to w3schools.com. From here, just select the learn HTML. From here you can start and learn everything from here, but I will teach you on the videos too, step by step, all of them. The next thing that you need to know is the how you write your code and how you run it. In this video I will show you how you can write it and how you can run it. In the previous video we discussed about web browser, and as I said, I am going to use the Visual Studio Code. Feel free to use this. If you are not going to use this one, again any other code editor would be fine. So I have created a folder here in my desktop, web design. You can also create. Let me delete all the file here for now, and I can open this in the Visual Studio Code like this. If I just close all the file, these are the old projects that I have built. If you want to open this in the Visual Studio Code, the browser, the folder, just open the code, then drag the folder inside that. Just drag it here. When I move it here, it will open my project here in the sidebar, and inside this one we have nothing. That's why it is showing an empty file here. If you want to create a file, you can start clicking here and this icon, create a new file, new folder. It will refresh and it will collapse all the files which are open. There are some shortcuts here. If you press Ctrl Shift P, it will show you all the commands. If you want to go to any file, just press Ctrl P. All of these things we will teach you in the future, but for now I will show you how you can get around Visual Studio. The other way that you can create file is going to the file, new. The shortcut is Ctrl N. Of course this is working on all software that you use on Windows or Mac, Control or Command, but for now I will use this icon. When you click here, it will show you a field here. You can write the name of the file. For example, I will name it start.html. Anything you can name, but you should put the extension of HTML here. One thing you should know, and you might know is already, every file on Windows or on Mac, I don't know about Mac, on Windows every file has an extension, except folders. Of course folders do not have any extension. If I come here, this is folder. If I come inside this one, as you can see, the starter which we create now is start.html has an extension of HTML. Any web page must have the extension of HTML or PHP, which we will discuss in the future. For now you just put HTML here, the extension. If your computer is not showing the extension, just go to view, check this one, file name. For now it is not showing. If I come, check the checkbox, now it is showing the extension too. For images we have PNG, JPG, JPEG, all of those extensions. For video we have MP4, you might know this one. For HTML, either you put HTML or HTML, both of them are going to work. And then you can write, click here, open with any of your favorite browser, Firefox or Chrome or Edge or Internet Explorer. You can open it. The good thing about web designing is that you don't need anything, almost you don't need any software to get started. Web designing is like that. If you are developing any software for a desktop, you need a compiler. Means when you write code, you should compile it into binary and then you can run it. For web you don't need to do that because you have a browser. And there is something and I should tell you, we have compiler. This is compiler is what you need for Windows. When you develop any desktop application, when you develop any web application, you need an interpreter. I think the spelling would be like this. I am not sure about the spelling. So interpreter is what compile your code. This is like compiler, but it will interpret. Interpret means while you open this, when you open this, it will just render the code and it will show you. Compiler means you change the binary and then you give binary to other people. This is completely another concept. You don't need to worry about these things, but one thing you should know for sure, that every browser has an engine inside them, and those engines are different. For example, when I am using Google Chrome, the engine for them is WebKit. WebKit is the engine which is used in Google Chrome and Apple Safari. Also they are using WebKit, and some other browsers like Firefox, they use another engine. Internet Explorer, they use another engine, and those engine are which are inside the browser. Those are the interpreter. I call them interpreter. When you open your code in browser, they will interpret. For example, if I right click, view source, here as you can see, it is showing the code for me. It's showing the code for me, and this is the code that is behind the websites. But what you see is like this. This is the interpreted one, or this is the compiled one. You just see the front page, the back end is like this. What you are going to write would look like this, but not this much messy. Of course, you will write clean code, and this is not that much hard that you see here. So that's it for the basic things about browser and how you compile your code and how you can run them. So for now, we have our code here. As you know, now you can create file, you can of course right click here, rename, you can delete, you can move them, anything you can do with this. One thing I should tell you, that Visual Studio Code is a very powerful code editor. You should master this in the future. In your job, in your career, you will use this a lot, because this has a lot of tools that you should learn. Of course, I will teach you step by step when you are learning. Beside that, you should master one of the code editors. Every web designer must know one code editor for sure, and they should know all the options, how you can use them, how you can customize them, all those things. So in the next video, I am going to start explaining the tags and how they are going to work.